Hi there, and welcome to Creatives Get Real. This is Roben-Marie Smith.
And I'm Sandi Keene, and these are real conversations about the creative life.
Good morning,
Hey,
Sandi.
good morning. Gosh, and if everyone's listening, they remember I don't drink coffee, so mornings are fun.
And we're both drinking water this morning, so
I know, we're being good.
we are.
We have a great topic today that we want to talk about. I'm excited about this. Do you want to tell them what it is?
I'm fearful of this.
There's a little clue right there.
Yeah, we are talking about the fears that we have in sharing our work online. And it's such a legit thing, really, fear. And we all experience it.
Yeah, especially when you're at the beginning. I mean, not that there aren't things that you and I post that we're like, ooh, let's see what happens with this one.
Exactly.
It's always funny to me when I put up something that I really struggled with and I think, okay, kids, here's ugly art. I'll always get someone who liked it
Yeah.
and says something really nice, which is awesome. And you just post back, you have no idea how hard I struggled with this, and it's not at all what I wanted. But thank you.
But I find that too, where I'll think that, oh, this is the one thing I love. Like, I really have loved this, whatever it is, a journal page, a project, and I'll post it and it maybe doesn't get quite the reaction. Not that I'm posting it for the reactions. Again, we have to remember that. But then I'll post something and I'm thinking, I really don't like this that much. And it's like, it's on fire. And I'm thinking, wow, it's just, you don't really know.
No, there's no predicting.
Mm-mm.
That's the one thing about this, is you can never guess what is going to take off and what is going to just be crickets.
Exactly.
And it happens.
And we're not really creating for the comments. We want to be clear about that.
Right.
But we know that there is that gratification and that sort of validation that comes when you do post something and people really do like it and they enjoy it, because you are sharing it. You're sharing a part of yourself when you're sharing your work online.
Absolutely.
Well, let's
personal.
Yeah, exactly. It's personal. Well, let's look at the 4 fears that we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
We're going to cover, and let's go ahead and go over them, and then we'll break them down. We got the fear that is caused by overwhelm. Basically, you have no idea where to start. There's so many platforms that you're just sort of frozen in fear.
Yeah.
We have, I'm not a real artist. There's that fear for sure. And that really doesn't go away. That's right.
No, it doesn't.
No. And then we have the fear of negative judgment or mean comments.
Mm-hmm.
That's also very real. And then, how am I going to stand out online? How am I going to be different? How am I going to not be lost in the crowd? So those are some of the 4 we're going to talk about today.
And those are huge.
They are.
Those are big ones. Okay, let's go. These are great things to talk about.
All right. Well, let's start with the first one. We don't know where to start. And again, when you think about starting, and it can be very overwhelming with so many different platforms that you can almost be frozen and not start at all, because you don't know where. It's very overwhelming, especially if you're new and you're just getting started. Or you could be somebody who's been posting for a while and you are spread so thin because you're trying to post everywhere and respond to comments everywhere that you're just frustrated and you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Right. That really is a big deal when you spread yourself thin, because it is really hard to not only keep up with it, but just to understand how each platform works and what you have to do, because they're all different.
That's right.
Yeah. So when we were talking before, you had said that you should just pick one. Why don't you talk about that? Because I think that's a really smart way to start.
Yeah, I think it's important first to pick one that you love and that you're comfortable with, because if you're enjoying it, then you're going to want to be on that platform, engaging on that platform. And for me, I love Instagram. And I think as artists, Instagram really is a great one because it is a visual platform.
Mm-hmm.
So and for me, it's not as cluttered and busy and crazy in your face like Facebook and even Twitter at times. And so I spend the most time on that platform. I spend the most time enjoying other people's art.
Right.
So it's the one that I'm comfortable with. I feel like It's easy to navigate. It's easy to comment and post. And so that one to me makes sense as an artist. And because it's visual and because it's pleasing, I like being on there.
I do too. I have a little bit of a problem with Instagram, as in I'm on it way too much.
There you go.
I need a 12-step for Instagram. Let's just be real. So that's my platform of choice also. I like it. It's easy. I'm not the tech wizard that you are. I like easy. What I like about Instagram is I think it's very easy to create community there. And that's why I post. I post for community. That's a big deal in my life. We talked about the fact that we both create alone a lot.
Yep.
So it's really nice to be able to have a place where you can talk to other people and reach out and, just feel like, hey, I'm not sitting here alone all the time.
Yeah, you're right about that. Especially, and it's not just within the Instagram feed itself, but also in the direct messages. It's amazing the more that you are on and the more that you build and engage that, in your community. And that means commenting. And we're going to talk about that. It means not just posting and then, boom, you're gone. It's commenting back to those that post or leave comments. It's going to other accounts and really kind of building that relationship. It's funny, I have to tell you, I sent an email about something to the wrong person. So she messaged me back and I realized, oh my goodness, I sent this to the wrong person, same first name, wrong person. And we have been engaging ever since. And we send messages to each other through DM and also comment. And it's very cool. So you really never know what kind of relationships you're going to start. And I mean, that's really all the communication we've had, but it's really cool. I just love that's kind of resulted in, of course, boy, if I had been fearful of, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then look what I did. Duh, I sent this email to the wrong person. But anyway,
I've done that too.
So, but I love that the community is so important because we do create alone, and it is hard for us when we're in, as we've talked about in the past, we're in our own little bubble and we don't always have perspective from others and just really just having that feedback as well, from in our community. So I think that's really important.
Very important.
So I think it's important to, one, pick a platform, pick something that you really enjoy, that your people are on, that you can engage with, and just start. If you try to wait until everything is super perfect, you're not going to start. And that's coming from sort of a semi-recovered perfectionist. So
you mean two?
Yes, there you go. Did you hear that, guys? Two.
Semi-recovered.
There we go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. What about the fear of not being a real artist?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is. It takes a while.
It does. It took me, I don't know how long to even be able to say the words, I'm an artist. When someone asks you what you do and then you're like deer in the headlights, well, number one, they're not going to understand. I can't really say I'm an artist. I make stuff and I sell it online, whatever that looks like. But that's a real thing, right?
Yeah. I think, I remember Steven Tyler of Aerosmith said one time that you have to fake it until you make it. And I totally agree. Sometimes you have to just say it, even though you don't believe it, until you're usually the last one that believes it. Everyone else will believe you, but you are the one that believes it last.
Yeah, that is such a great point. And I think too, there's the flip side of this. We've got this wonderful opportunity to share online, but then we've got this wonderful opportunity to share online. There's so many awesome artists out there for us to see and to be inspired by, but then it's also the flip side of that you can be sucked into this. I'm not as good as this person, or my work's not like this person's. And you can really start comparing yourself and feeling like, why should I post or why should I share? Who is going to even be interested in?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. And even wanting to see what I'm creating or to watch my tutorials or learn what I'm doing. We ask ourselves those questions.
We do. Well, that well, if you've listened to our other podcasts, other episodes, we talked about the fact that I just started in watercolor. Like, it's been almost 2 years now. But
Yeah.
the first things I did, I knew they were crap. I mean, I didn't need anyone to tell me. Luckily they didn't. But I knew they were crap. But here's the evolution. And I think sometimes we have to role model. Okay, this is crap. I'm just starting. I'm making every mistake, but I'm going to put it out there. And because this is what brave is. And sometimes we just have to be brave. And you put it out and you say, I'm just starting. I'm just learning. And here it is. Look, yeah, I'm a beginner.
Exactly. And, it's funny that you say that, because I've looked at things from the very beginning when I first started creating. And there were times when I really did think, wow, this is awesome. And I look back on things now and I think, even in the last 5 years, the progressions that I've made and the growth that I've made. And I wonder if I really had thought at that time, the truth of what I was looking at, basically like what you said, if I had never posted it, I don't know that I ever would have gotten brave enough to continue, because it would have been like, this is not good enough. Because I look back and think, I really did post that and I thought it was something awesome. I did. Good for me. I put it out there and I kept growing and I kept learning.
Right. And every step, when I learned more about how much water to put in watercolor, that progression, every step should be celebrated. Hey, I've learned this, and look, you can see the difference.
Exactly.
And it's still junk,
but it encourages others too.
Yes.
And that's really, and that's a lot of what our goals
are.
Why
we post.
Exactly. We want to encourage others and inspire others. And this whole idea, you've heard the term imposter syndrome. How many times have I talked to you and just said, I'm really just a poser. I have no clue what I'm doing.
I've heard it a few times, but we all do that when You're like, I was an artist. I'm not now. I just stink.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important, guys, to understand that you're not alone in feeling this way.
Right.
We feel this way.
Everyone
are many
does.
days. And what really shocks me is when I read a blog post or I hear an artist that I feel like is like, wow, I just really admire this artist, actually say that. I'm thinking, what? But yet I do the same thing too. Right. So you're not alone in that.
And you never completely outgrow it. Yeah. It's true. Like, I was reading this article and it was about, perspective. And it was the person who has 3 million followers who was complaining and feeling like, what did I do wrong, when they only got 500,000 likes? And wow. I remember that when I was so excited, because I think, what is it, after 11 likes, it stops listing the people and it just puts the number.
The number, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my goal, to get to the number.
Yeah. And
I remember when I was working so hard to have 100 followers, and just like, oh, can I please get to 100? Because that felt like success to me. So it's perspective, and maybe your goal is 10, and then it's 25.
Right.
Yeah.
But not, and when I say this a lot too, I'm staying in my lane. I'm trying to stay in my lane. You really need to do that, because too much comparison and looking at what others are doing can really, really affect you and cause you to probably not want to post or get discouraged.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you're creating art, you're an artist.
Exactly. That's the definition.
I know. And here's something that I still say, and I have not gotten over this yet. I will tell people that I'm an artist, and then they'll be like all, gooey-eyed and impressed. And I go, well, I'm not a fine artist. That's what I say. And I haven't gotten over that yet. And I hope that one day I will be able to get over that. I'm not a fine artist. I'm just...
Wait a minute, back up. We're talking crayons, people.
Yeah, that's what I use. And technically, I do kind of use and watercolors. And I paint with my hands and my fingers. So I'm a finger painting crayon artist, right?
And occasionally you eat paste. So there you go. We're kindergartners.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Oh, the good old days, right? Oh, the good old days. All right. So guys, if you are creating art, you're an artist. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Own
the
it.
next one, yeah, own it. Negative judgment or mean comments. Oh boy, that's a good one,
Yes.
right?
Well, there's two realities. One is that there's far less negativity than you're expecting. And the other reality is there will always be that one person who's had a bad day and looking to take it out on someone else. And they will say something that they say it so offhandedly,
Mm-hmm.
and it crushes your spirit.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And they have no idea that there are people that actually stop doing art because of a negative comment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to be ready.
You do. And you're not always ready. You just,
Well, you're never ready.
I think it's, yeah, I have to,
Completely.
and I have to tell this story because this one this one hit me really by surprise. I've gotten negative comments about my work. I had one on YouTube that basically, it was a dialogue. I don't know who this person was, but they said my art looked like chicken scratch, and it was the funniest conversation with this person. And I left it there because I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. All right. And I just left it because I'm like, I'm not afraid to take this down. But the one that I think that hurt the most was I was doing a year-long group workshop where you create a workshop for, and there's many artists that create the workshop. And I had to do my first video interview. And I've really struggled over the years with the video and being on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely more comfortable now. But when I did this, I was not super comfortable. So I got dressed, I had my makeup, my hair, I wanted to look nice. And I was so nervous that I was nervous. And apparently when I'm nervous, I have things that I do that I don't realize I'm doing. And one of the comments that came in later was so negative, but it was geared to me personally. It was, what's wrong with her eyes? She keeps blinking so much. And, why does she wear all those bracelets all over her wrists? And what is wrong with her? I mean, it was like, I was so shocked and taken aback. I was mortified. I thought, wow, okay. I was so nervous and my allergies were bothering me. So it was like, I'm, whatever. It just was really hurtful, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to get past it and you got to go, that's not about me. It's
Right.
about them. And I know you can touch on that a little bit.
Right. Definitely. When someone strikes out with that much vehemence, as a coach, let me just coach everyone here. That is not about you. And it's really hard to remember that because, they're talking about you and they wound you. But if you can just remember that's someone striking out because of things going on in their own lives.
That's right.
And if it wasn't you, it would be the person after you. And it probably is. They probably hit more than one person when they're in that mood.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And you just learn from that. You learn how to be kinder and never do that to someone else.
Right.
I mean, when I comment, I try to really watch my words because sometimes, you can't hear inflection and you can't hear emotion in written comments.
That's so true. Mm-hmm.
So you have to be really careful with your words. You do not want to take someone who's being brave and starting something at the beginning and scar them, because
Right.
it does. It takes a long time to get over.
Yeah. So you think about how would you feel if this was a comment that was left on your post, and then let that be your guide, because, it's better to be encouraging and uplifting, especially when someone's brand new and they're really trying to put their work out there and be brave, like you said, for sure.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
You encourage them and you find something to say about what they did. I love that pink you're using. I love the way you're doodling. I love this. Find something that you love and encourage them, because someone has done that for you, most
That's
likely.
right. That's
you got to pay it forward.
Exactly. And if you let the fear of the fact that there'll be people that won't like you or like your work or criticize, keep you from sharing, you're really missing out on those relationships with the people that really do want to see your work and want to learn from you. So that's so important.
Yeah. And if you can remember that it's 99% positive
this is
and
true.
1% negative.
That's right. But in the moment, that 1% seems like a mountain, you know,
it's the only thing you remember.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, you don't remember the 99, you know, I love this, you're wonderful. You remember the one person that says you're crap. Why are you posting?
Exactly.
And you're like, thank you.
And you know, oftentimes I find that I'll get a negative comment or I'll get an email from somebody and I'll think, oh, and then I'll keep going through my email. And on that very same day, I'll get one that's just so nice. Somebody that's just like, thank you so much. You know what? And I'm just like, yes. So don't hesitate, guys, to also share those sweet words and the kind comments, because you know that that's going to come. That's something that you want as well. Right. And as you continue to share online, you'll know that there are many others who've been right where you were and how you felt. So,
and my last suggestion is, if you have someone who says something really negative on your feed, you delete it and you block them. It's like, this is my house.
Good
point.
Know,
my feed is my house. You've come into my house and you've been mean to me. You're not invited back.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Done. Bye.
Done. Good point. All right then.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. I did leave that YouTube comment up just because I wanted everyone to see how crazy and stupid that person was and how mean they were. And it was okay. Hey, my work looks like chicken scratch. It's okay with me, whatever. You obviously don't understand my art, right?
Right.
Okay, moving on. Our fourth fear is that you're not going to be able to stand out online. Okay, well, you know what? This is the way I see it. There is nothing new under the sun, but we all interpret things differently. We all have a different way of seeing things. So it really doesn't matter that you feel like you're not going to stand out online, because, you know, it's not like you're the first artist to ever use acrylic paint or paint with watercolor.
Exactly. What I always try to remember is there's always someone better than you, and there's always someone behind you. So, you know, you are always in the middle. No matter who you are, there's someone better than you. You know,
good point. Coach, good point.
Yes. I know, I can't stop.
Oh, no, that's true. And I think too that it's, I forget the exact saying where it says, don't compare your beginning to someone's end, or, you know, your middle to the end or whatever, because there's always going to be. And, you know, I think that the more that you share, the more that you create, that's the key. The more that you stick with it and you continue, your uniqueness comes out. And this is one of those areas where we talk about uniqueness and style and whatever that looks like. I don't know how many times you'll hear, oh, I recognize your stuff anywhere. And then I'm like, really? What exactly does, you know, what does that look like? You know, I think it's so hard for us to see that, to see the style or what, like when I see your watercolors, I know it's you. I absolutely, not just because of the way that you do your watercolors, but the way that you do your photography. I know this is Sandi Keene. There's just certain things about your work that are very unique to you, but they're still watercolors.
Right.
And if I put your watercolors next to 3 or 4 other watercolor artists, I know which one's yours.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. And the same with you. I mean, when you go through, scroll through, it's like Robin. There's no question who that is. And it's very, very obvious. Usually it's the black squiggles.
Or pink.
Yeah. I love when you use pink and teal.
Yeah. And we go through phases. I had somebody reach out to me just this week who said that she's been following me since my days of the brown and the vintage. And I'm like, ugh, I cringe, you know, because I think
you're like, I'm sorry.
I know. But back then I wasn't brave enough to use color. You know, I just thought I need to just brown and black and, you know, keep it vintage. But how much my work has changed and grown, and how much all of ours will grow and change. Yes. The more that we create, and the more that we practice, and the more that we learn,
Mm-hmm.
It will. And you will start seeing your uniqueness and your style emerge. And it's okay to feel that fear, because we still do, I think, even of,
Absolutely.
standing out or, what, and there's not just that. There's that fear too, I think, when you start thinking about individuality, of wanting to blend in. But okay, well, it's okay to blend in, but don't you want to stand out? Be bold, be
Mm-hmm.
courageous, just
Right.
because your work doesn't look like everybody else's. Okay, well, put it out there, so
Exactly.
there's the flip side of this. It goes both
Yes.
ways. And I think that just be brave and put it out there, even if it's different, even if it's doesn't look like everybody else's. It's your work, it's your art.
Right. And being unique is such a huge thing. I mean, if you're unique, good for you. I mean, that everyone will stop and look. It's like going through the feed on Instagram or Facebook, and you're like, whoa, what's that? That's
Exactly.
cool.
Kind of like the time I started posting all those faces, or was that on Pinterest?
That was Pinterest. I
and you,
unfollowed you.
I know you did. And I was like, she unfollowed me because she didn't like what I was repinning.
I'm like, dude, you're giving me nightmares.
But I was so drawn to these freaky, weird, 3 eyeballed faces. I loved that. But, again, somebody was putting something out there was like totally different. And I loved it. So you just never know. But
yeah.
So I remember that.
I remember you're like, did you just unfollow me?
Yeah,
your nightmare. Yes, I did. You let me know when you're done with that stuff, and I'll follow you.
It was a phase. It was a phase. I know. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But that just speaks to the fact that what somebody will love, someone else won't.
This is
so
true.
There's room for even 3-eyed, scary nightmare faces. There's room for everybody.
There is. There absolutely is. All right. So we got through our 4 key points, and we talked a little bit about handling comments. We talked about positive comments, negative comments. What about no comments at all? What advice do you have for that?
I think comments are something that you have to give to get.
Amen.
So, yeah. So I say if you're not getting any comments, then you take 15, 20 minutes every morning or every evening, and you comment on other people's posts, and they will generally reciprocate. I think the other thing that you can do if you're getting no comments is to ask a question in your post.
Yes.
What do you think about this? What do you like best? How are you dealing with this? What's your favorite product? Whatever. Try to get people engaged.
And it works. It really does. I posted the other day, I had tried on some clothes at Marshall's, and the way they were hanging in the fitting room, they were beautiful. All the colors and the patterns that I had chosen. And I thought, I'm going to put this in my feed because this is where you get inspiration, guys, from all over. And so I thought, I'm going to ask a question, which 2 did I buy? And it was amazing. I got a lot of comments on that. People trying to guess and, what was this? And I think it was that. So questions they're perfect for that, and getting someone to answer. And here's the thing too, guys, when you're commenting or when you're putting your caption in, try to put the important stuff at the top. So if you have a question, maybe ask the question at the very beginning and then go in and kind of like define it a little bit, because when it shows up in the feed, you're only going to see a little bit of whatever the caption is. So if it's the question, then it's like, and then somebody might be more likely to stop and, pop in there and answer your question for you.
Right. That's a good point.
But asking questions is good. And I think absolutely, guys, you've got to be giving the comments to be getting the comments. And, you can even explore other accounts, maybe that you don't even follow, but are things that you like, things that are similar to what you create, and go and comments on people that even don't even follow you.
Right.
It's a good way to get found too, and also to find some amazing
inspiration.
Wow, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's what we do when you get no comments. And the other thing is to realize that very few people comment.
Yeah.
I think the percentage If I had to guess, I would say it's like between 2 and 5% people comment.
Well, and we're all busy. We really are. And so, I
Mhm.
mean, the liking is genuine. I mean, I like things I like, and posting a comment or adding a comment, I don't do that as often as I think I would like to. And sometimes it's just that I'm busy to,
Right.
stop and do it. And I think that's for all of us, really. So don't
Mhm.
take it to heart if you're not getting a lot of comments.
Right.
And
Most
it's not
people
about the
aren't.
comments anyway. So, right.
Yeah. But it is nice for someone to stop. And my other thing is if someone comments on your post, you answer them.
Yes. Yes. I get so freaked out sometimes when I forget one and have to go back and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been a week and I forgot to answer that one or respond. It's okay. But definitely, guys, if you're getting comments, you need to be responding in some way. Thank you.
Yeah.
It can be simple, a heart, a thank you. It doesn't have to be complicated, but that is very important to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're building community and you're
Yes.
looking for, people, your
That's right.
tribe. That's a
Yep.
good way to find people is to start a conversation in comments.
Absolutely. Good. Good discussion.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah. Okay. So just to recap, we've talked about fear, the fear of putting yourself out there, sharing your art online, and those four fears being you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to start,
Hmm.
and you're not a real artist. So why should you share online as an artist, right? Negative
Right.
judgment, mean comments, and also that how will I stand out?
Yeah, there's no room for me.
Nope. Nope. You might as well just sell all that art stuff and I don't know, volunteer at the dog shelter.
That's funny and true. And don't invite me to your garage sale when you sell all those things because I'll buy them and I don't need them. So please don't invite me.
Oh my goodness, no. Well, you do know that you're the first person that my executor in my will is to call if and when I die, so that you can come and take all the art supplies that you want out of my studio. You get first dibs.
I know. How lucky am I? Keep lots of pink and teal, please.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, any other closing comments or thoughts on our topic? I think we
Um,
covered it.
yeah, not on our topic, but I do have a closing thought. And that is that we both want to really thank everyone who's been listening and commenting. And we are so, so appreciative. This
Yes.
it
Yes, we
means
are.
a lot that people are actually listening to us just, babble at each other.
Banter back and forth, and we do this when we're well, over meals, but definitely in the studio when we're hanging out. And we thought, you know what, that was a great conversation we just had. That would have made a great podcast episode. We
Hmm.
want you to feel like you're really just spending time with us as we're just hanging out discussing different topics. Some
Right.
we like, some like today or a little bit more serious, but we just want you to tune us in while you're in your studio creating or you're driving. And we really do appreciate you and hope that there'll be some tips and some ideas and some benefits and just some good old laughs that you can have with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, pull up a chair. We're glad you're here. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Creatives Get Real.
We sure appreciate all your support.
And you can find me at sandikeene.com and my teaching site, popupartclasses.com.
And you can find me at robenmarie.com and my classes at robenmariestudio.com.